how to walk into any room with grace and strength. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you disappeared the moment you stepped in? Like nobody noticed. Nobody greeted. Nobody even looked up. That feeling, it can sink deep. Especially as we get older. Maybe when we were younger, people stood up when we entered. Smiled. Greeted us by name. But now, it's different. Sometimes, it's like we're ghosts in our own lives. But here's the truth, age does not make you invisible. And it certainly doesn't take away your grace or your strength. You still have the power to walk into any room, anywhere, and carry yourself with a presence that commands quiet respect. Not loud. Not flashy. But the kind of quiet strength that turns heads and softens hearts. And today, I want to talk to you, just you and me, about how to bring that power back. Because it's not about age. It's about energy. It's about how you enter, how you carry yourself, and how you believe in your own worth. And I promise you this, even if you've felt small or forgotten lately, you are still capable of lighting up any space you walk into. So let's begin, shall we? Let's start with something simple, yet often forgotten, posture. Now before you roll your eyes or think, oh great, here we go with the standing up straight talk, hear me out. Your posture tells your story before your mouth even opens. When you walk in hunched over, eyes to the ground, arms tucked in like you're trying to disappear, that energy spreads. People don't ignore you because you're older. They miss you because your body language whispers, don't see me. But when you lift your chin, straighten your back, and let your arms move freely by your sides, something magical happens. You begin to take up space again. You're not shrinking. You're not apologizing for existing. You're arriving. Fully. And you don't need to be tall or athletic or glamorous. You just need to stand like you matter. Even if your body aches. Even if your knees creak and your spine isn't what it used to be, there's still a way to walk proud. I met a woman last year, her name was Lorraine. 82 years old. Wore flats, had a cane, moved slowly. But every time she walked into our community center, the entire room turned toward her. Why? Because she walked like she had nothing to prove and nothing to hide. She smiled. Made eye contact. Stood tall in her own way. Her grace wasn't in how fast she walked, it was in the peace she carried. And that brings me to the second piece of this puzzle, your energy. People may forget what you say. But they remember how you made them feel. You ever notice how some people just light up a room the moment they enter? It's not their clothes. It's not their money. It's not even their words. It's the calm. The warmth. The quiet confidence that says, I belong here, and so do you. You can't fake that energy, but you can grow it. Start small. Before you enter any space, a doctor's office, your church, even your own living room, pause for just a second. Breathe in and ask yourself, what energy do I want to bring in here? Is it calm? Kindness? Joy? Humor? Dignity? Choose it. Carry it in like it's a gift you're offering to the room. That small moment of intention can change everything. And I know, sometimes, we walk into places where we don't feel welcome. Maybe the younger folks are too busy on their phones. Maybe people speak too fast, or not at all. But here's the thing, you don't need their invitation. You already earned your place. Through the years you've lived. The storms you've weathered. The hearts you've touched. You don't need to be loud or pushy. Just enter with the energy that reflects who you are. Not who you used to be. Not who they expect. But who you are, right now. And when your energy meets your posture, that quiet, grounded strength, you become unforgettable. Now, let me tell you about something else that adds to your presence, and this one's often overlooked. It's your eyes. Your gaze. Not in a staring contest kind of way, but in how you see people. And let yourself be seen. When you look people in the eyes, even if just for a second, you remind them, I'm still here. And I still see you too. There's a power in that, especially in today's world, where everyone's looking down at screens. A steady, kind gaze can cut through the noise. And it doesn't just affect others, it changes you. You walk taller. You speak clearer. You feel more grounded. You're no longer just passing through the world unnoticed. You're connecting. And if you ever doubt that this matters, if you ever think, oh, what's the point, no one's paying attention anyway, let me remind you of this. People are watching. Especially the younger ones. They're watching how you carry age. How you handle silence. How you enter a room. And you, my friend, are showing them that growing older doesn't mean growing smaller. You are showing them what grace looks like. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you, your voice. Not just the words you say, but the tone, the rhythm, the confidence behind it. You see, your voice is not just a tool for talking. It's a reflection of how you see yourself. If your voice trembles, rushes, or hides and whispers, people sense that. But when your voice is calm, clear, and measured, even if it's soft, it carries weight. Think about the people in your life whose words stayed with you. Was it because they shouted? No. It was because their voice had presence. You can have that too. Start by breathing before you speak. Let your words come out slower. Let silence exist between sentences. You don't need to fill every moment with noise. In fact, quiet confidence is often louder than shouting. There's something magnetic about a person who speaks with ease. Who pauses. Who knows they don't need to prove anything. You don't need fancy vocabulary. You don't need to sound younger. You just need to sound like you. With intention. With belief. With dignity. And while we're here, let's not forget another part of walking into a room with grace, how you dress. Now, don't worry, this isn't about following fashion trends or buying new clothes. This is about dressing in a way that shows respect for yourself. When you take the time to choose clothes that make you feel good, that fit well, that reflect your personality, it sends a message. I still care. I still show up. I still take pride in who I am. Whether it's a simple scarf, a favorite sweater, or a pair of polished shoes, these little choices matter. I remember a man named Harold, retired postman, widower, didn't talk much. But every Sunday, without fail, he showed up to church in a pressed shirt, polished shoes, and a navy blue cap. He never said much. But the way he carried himself said everything. And people noticed. Not because he was flashy, but because he respected the space he walked into. He respected himself. That kind of self-respect is contagious. And it doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you feel inside. Because when you walk in feeling put together, even in the simplest way, you move differently. Your chin lifts a little higher. Your smile comes a little easier. It's not about vanity. It's about honoring the life you've lived and still choosing to show up, fully present. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly listened to someone without planning your reply? Listening, real listening, is a forgotten art. But it's one of the most powerful tools you have. When you listen with your whole face, your body turned toward the person, your eyes soft, your mind quiet, you become magnetic. People are drawn to that. Because in a world full of distractions, being truly heard feels like a gift. And when you give that gift, you create connection. You create trust. You create presence. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be the strongest. Sometimes, the one who listens, really listens, is the one who commands the deepest respect. So when you walk into a room, don't think, what should I say to impress them? Instead, ask, who here needs to be seen? Who needs to be heard? Because when you enter a space looking to give instead of take, you radiate a different kind of energy. People may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. And one more thing. Let go of the idea that you have to be someone else to be respected. You don't need to mimic the confidence of someone younger. You don't need to act tougher, or quieter, or more cheerful than you really feel. The most powerful version of you is the honest one. You've earned your wisdom, your scars, your stories. You've walked through grief and joy, loss and love. You don't need to pretend to be anyone else. In fact, your authenticity, your realness, is your greatest strength. When you walk into a room as your full, authentic self, not trying to be younger, not trying to fade into the background, not trying to impress, just being, you change the space you enter. And that, right there, is grace. And now, let's talk about something that doesn't always get said out loud, the fear of being overlooked. It's real, isn't it? Sometimes we don't walk into a room with strength because a small voice inside whispers, why bother? Maybe you felt it at family gatherings, when younger folks talk over each other, when no one asks how you are, when your stories get cut short or brushed off like they don't matter anymore. It stings. But let me gently remind you of this, just because others forget to see your worth, doesn't mean it isn't there. Your value isn't measured by how loudly people clap. It's measured by the quiet strength it takes to keep showing up, even when the applause stops. Grace isn't about being noticed. Grace is about knowing you belong, even if no one says it out loud. So what can you do, right now, to carry that grace into every space you enter? Start by remembering this: your presence is not a burden. You bring with you decades of experience, laughter, pain, insight, life. You carry wisdom that can't be Googled. You've survived things others haven't even imagined. That deserves space. That deserves a seat at the table. So take that seat, not with apology, not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. Smile gently when you enter. Make eye contact. Stand in your body with whatever strength it offers today. Speak slowly. Listen fully. And know that just by being, you offer something rare. You offer a groundedness this world desperately needs. There's so much noise now. So much rushing. But you, in your calm, in your age, in your lived experience, you are the opposite of noise. You are presence. And presence is powerful. Let others be drawn to your peace. Let them notice the steadiness in your voice, the kindness in your eyes, the way you don't fill the room with noise but with meaning. You don't have to be the life of the party. You are the soul of the moment. And if someone overlooks you, if they walk past without a glance, talk past without a pause, let them. Their blindness is not your truth. Because somewhere in that same room, someone is watching. Maybe it's a grandchild. A stranger. A woman wondering if she'll ever feel beautiful again after 60. A man wondering if aging means fading. And then they see you. How you carry yourself. How you smile with quiet dignity. You've just given them hope. You've just reminded them that aging is not a curse, it's a crown. And maybe they won't say it out loud. Maybe they'll never walk up and thank you. But you've changed the atmosphere just by entering as you. So today, and every day forward, I want you to walk into every room like your story still matters, because it does. Walk in with your chin up, not in pride, but in peace. Walk in with your heart open, not to prove anything, but to connect. Walk in knowing that even in silence, your presence speaks volumes. And above all, walk in like someone who's lived, and still living. Because that's exactly who you are. Now, before we go, I'd love to hear from you. What's something you've learned about carrying yourself with grace and strength as you've gotten older? Drop a comment below, I read them all. And if this video made you feel seen, or reminded you of your worth, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, we've got so many more conversations to have. You're not walking this road alone. Here's to living your truth, your grace, and your strength, at any age. And here's to walking into every room, fully, beautifully, unapologetically you.